Well, good morning. I'm Dr. Leslie Smith, and it is so great to see all of you. You give so much purpose and meaning to our lives. You make this campus come alive. It's hard to believe that we are already back at school. It's amazing how fast time flies, especially, I think, during the summer months. As we think about time and the various chapters of our lives, will you please consider the message in this short clip?
My goodness, don't you remember when you went first to school? You went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, the idea was to push along so that you could get into first grade. And then push along so that you could get into second grade, third grade, and so on, going up and up. And then you went to high school, and this was a great transition in life. And now the pressure is being put on. You must get ahead. You must go up the grades and finally be good enough to get to college. And then when you get to college, you're still going step by step, up to the great moment in which you're ready to go out into the world. And then when you get out into this famous world, comes the struggle for success in profession or business. And again, there seems to be a ladder before you, something for which you're reaching all the time. And then, suddenly, when you're about 40 or 45 years old in the middle of life, you wake up one day and say, huh? I've arrived. And by Jove, I feel pretty much the same as I've always felt. In fact, I'm not so sure that I don't feel a little bit cheated. Because you see, you were fooled. You were always living for somewhere where you aren't. And while, as I said, it is of tremendous use for us to be able to look ahead in this way and to plan, there is no use planning for a future, which when you get to it and it becomes a present, you won't be there. You'll be living in some other future which hasn't yet arrived. And so in this way, one is never able actually to inherit and enjoy the fruits of one's action. You can't live at all unless you can live fully now.
Wherever you are, be all there. What a simple idea, but in reality, it's actually not that easy. From an early age, we begin the process of preparing for that next thing, the next test, the next project, the next class, the next grade level, the next whatever. You fill in the blank. I have to admit, I've spent a good amount of my life doing just that. Throughout my many years in school, I have often said things like, I'm going to feel so much better as soon as I get through this next project, or this next semester, or this next degree. And truth be told, the same is still true today. Just recently, I heard myself saying, as soon as I get through this, insert next big event or next big presentation, life will be so much easier again. If I'm being honest with myself, I've spent a good amount of time thinking about all the things I still have to do or the places I need to go, so much so that at times, I have to admit, I'm not fully present in the moment with whoever or whatever is right before me. Rather than being mindful of who I'm with or where I am or what I'm experiencing right in that very moment, my mind is often full of stuff. That never-ending list of things to do, places to go, people to see, and that's not all. When I really reflect on my life, I recognize that I have spent a good amount of time being in a rush, hurried for what exactly, I'm not sure. I don't know, I guess that next best thing. I'm not clear as to when exactly that started, but I certainly remember that being the case during high school. Back in the day, I went to Villa Park High, and well, without boring you with all the details, let's just say it wasn't a great fit for me. Although I didn't know it at the time, I am definitely an introvert, and I found it very difficult for me to get connected. In addition, I most certainly did not enjoy all of the high school gossip, peer pressure, and of course the girl drama, so I decided to graduate early, and I did. But looking back now, I wish I would have stuck it out. I missed so many things: prom, football games, grad night, and a lot of the other great high school moments that I know would have eventually become great memories, especially with Steph, who remains my best friend to this day. She still talks about how hard it was for her that I left her to do senior year alone without me. After graduating early from Villa Park, I went on to Pepperdine University in Malibu. This is a picture of the campus. It overlooks the Pacific Ocean and is widely recognized as one of the most beautiful college campuses in the world. I think it's pretty spectacular. Considering how much I love the beach, you'd think that I would have spent every day on the sand or in the surf, but truth is, like high school, I was in such a hurry to graduate early that I had my nose buried so far in the books that I hardly recognized that the Pacific Ocean was right outside my window. Talk about missed moments. Ultimately, I did in fact accomplish my goal. I graduated from Pepperdine in 3 years, but I'm not sure what I gained from rushing through. If anything, again, when I reflect back, I lost more being so busy and so worried about the next thing that I missed out on much of the beauty that was right before me. Wherever you are, be all there. While I still haven't mastered that yet, I'm keenly aware of its significance, and I'm working hard to make it a prioritized reality in my life. I am so very grateful for my late husband, Phil, who taught me the significance of those words. As many of you are aware, a year ago, July 30th, my husband was called home. I don't understand, but I am grateful for my faith and the assurance that Phil entered eternity and is with Jesus this very moment. Phil lived every day to the fullest. He appreciated every moment. He taught us to celebrate life in every way and how to be fully present. He modeled authenticity and what it means to genuinely care for all people. While working on what would have been this message a year ago, Phil commented on one of the many clips I was previewing. Honestly, I didn't even know he'd been paying attention. And as I'd watched so many videos, so I was a bit surprised when he asked me about the jelly bean clip. He said, "I really like that one. It gives such a great perspective on life." I'd like to share it with you today.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities, like chores and tending to our pets and shopping, will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities, and another 720 days will go to community activities, like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
Every moment matters. Every single one matters, good and bad. I've been on this earth for nearly 19,000 days now, and I can tell you, time is non-refundable. You don't get it back, so use it with intention. I've experienced how quickly life goes by and how life can change in the blink of an eye. We can't know how many jelly beans we have, but I can tell you that I don't want to miss out on the moments that can become beautiful memories by being too busy or too much in a rush to get on to the next thing. Or by having my eyes, for example, fixed on screens of my iPhone or my computer, or viewing life through the lens of its camera. Wherever you are, be all there. Be fully present. Be in the moment. I think this picture captures that sentiment so beautifully. Look at the happy, satisfied, content expression on the face of this sweet, wise little old lady as she watches life unfold right before her eyes. She is fully present and experiencing life in the moment. I think she has it all figured out. I want to thank all of you who were here with me last year. I want to thank you for your love and your kindness, for your support and your words of encouragement. There were many times I left chapel in tears, and in every one of those moments, God placed one of you there to be there with me, to encourage me, to walk with me. Your warm morning greetings and your thoughtful notes and emails are moments I will cherish forever, and they mean more to me than you will ever know. You truly demonstrated empathy and compassion for me, and you continue to play a significant part in my healing. Being distracted is easy enough with life, as busy as it is, but the grief fog I experienced made it just that much worse. In many ways, last year was a complete blur for me. I didn't realize how much time I spent walking around with my eyes to the ground until a good friend brought it to my attention. As I was getting ready to go for a run one day, he gently suggested, "Today, how about you look up so Phil can see your beautiful face?" Look up, he said. What great advice. He was so right. This is a picture of my typical vantage point. Gosh, I knew just about every crack, rock, and bump on my standard 4-mile route. But that day, everything changed. As I walked outside, I forced myself to look up, to Jesus, to heaven, so that Phil could see my face. And suddenly, the world here on earth suddenly looked very different. This is a picture of what I saw that day. It seemed as if the fog began to lift and I began to see color again in the sky, in the flowers, in the trees. It was all around me. That got me thinking, we spend so much of our lives with our eyes buried in our phones and our computer screens, our iPads, our video games, our TVs, and it's affecting not only our ability to be present and fully in the moment, but it's adversely affecting our mental health and well-being too. Research is very clear that the more time we spend on screens and social media in particular, the less empathetic we become and the more lonely, unhappy, anxious, and depressed we become. We all know that there are a lot of great things about technology and social media. It can be a great and effective tool when it's used as a resource for learning or to connect people who are separated by time and distance. But it can also create a sense of artificial togetherness when it is allowed to interfere with daily face-to-face interactions. Social media is pretty much designed to be all about, well, me. Like me, listen to me, hire me, watch me, show me, look at me, agree with me, accept me. And while social media allows us to share our stories, it can also provide an opportunity to create an illusion of a perfect life. No wonder so many people report that they experience FOMO, or the fear of missing out, and that social media makes them feel worse about themselves and their own lives. And because there are no stopping cues with social media, meaning it provides no sign as to when something starts or ends, if not careful, time spent posting, following, liking, and sharing can become all-consuming. Our lives are already so full, and when we fill that, what little downtime we have with social media, we are crowding out the essential downtime needed to wonder, ponder, create, think, explore, rest, recharge. And as you might recall from last year, the part of our brain where empathy develops requires downtime. So we need to create that space. Human beings crave connection, a sense of belonging, connectedness, but it's difficult to connect with others when we are too focused on ourselves or when we are so buried in our own lives or our screens that we forget to look up and really see other people. Earlier, I shared how much I have always loved the beach. One of my favorite things is the evening sunset. It's a place of beauty, tranquility, peace, healing. My husband and I love to watch sunsets together. Each memory captures such beautiful, precious moments I will forever cherish. For me, sunsets are not only beautiful, but they are a reminder of our awesome God, the creator of our universe. He creates for us a gift, a unique masterpiece new each day. Sunsets remind me to be still, to be quiet, to listen, to look up, and to be grateful. Each day is a gift from God, and time on this earth with those we love is simply far too short. As we celebrate the beginning of this new school year, I encourage you to pause and savor the moment, because before you know it, you will be at graduation preparing to begin yet a new chapter in your lives. Freshmen, to date, you have already experienced at least 5,110 sunrises and sunsets in your lifetime. And during your 4 years of high school, you'll have the opportunity to enjoy approximately 1,390 more. Sophomores, as you begin the second year of 4, you have approximately 1,026 sunsets before you graduate. Juniors, you're already halfway through, or on the other hand, you're only halfway there. But regardless of your perspective, you have the opportunity to enjoy approximately 655 sunsets and the many moments in between before your graduation. And seniors, class of 2019, in the blink of an eye, you will be in red caps and gowns walking across the stage at the UCI Bren Center as Mr. Eklund and I call your names before nearly 5,000 family and friends to experience your big moment. As of today, there are only 291 sunsets before that day. My question to all of you, regardless of your number, what will you do with the many moments during your OLU experience? Will you look for them, capture them, celebrate them, appreciate them? Will you make the most of each of your moments? As we journey through life together, undoubtedly there will be many moments of joy, gratitude, and celebration, and there will be many moments of doubt, fear, and pain. Know that you are not alone. You are part of our Lancer family. I saw this car on the road the other day. I thought the tire cover had a good message. We have one life here on earth. Let's live it together. Wherever you are, be all there. Seniors, you are dismissed.